Well, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful sunny morning. Finally, after several days, almost a week of cloudy and rainy weather, got about a little over an inch of rain total down here at the shop. But we're gonna do a little bean cutting today, I think. So, gonna go in the shed here and get basically everything pulled out. Gonna have to take the corn head off the combine, get it switched over to beans. Luckily, these Case IH combines are really fast and simple to switch over to beans. It takes about less than 10 minutes, and really it'd take even less than that, but we choose to switch out one concave when we switch between corn and beans. You don't have to, we didn't used to, but we found that switching this one does a little bit better when it comes to threshing out the bean pods. So we do that, no big deal. So we got to get the grain cart pulled out, then this semi, and then the combine is there. Pull that header trailer out, put the corn head on it, and then pull the bean head out. Luke's got his bean head pulled in the shop right now. The header trailer lost a hubcap, so he's putting that on right now. But let's get this backed out. So before we start up any equipment in the shed, unfortunately, I don't know how you put it, gotta get up there into the engine compartment, check for cats. Do have a few barn cats around here. Obviously that's kind of a pain, but they do keep the mice down by quite a bit. We did, when was that, 2 years ago? I didn't check, wasn't thinking, got in a hurry, didn't check, and had a kitty cat up in there and ruined a fan on Luke's tractor. Luckily that was a pretty quick and easy fix, but I don't know, 10 years ago we had a coon get up in a combine, kitty, and that was a bigger problem. That was $10,000 worth of damage to the fan, radiators and such. Luckily insurance covered that, because that would have been real pain, but they've been staying out of it, so that's good. So we'll get up in here, get this backed out. Before I set this head off, obviously I gotta unhook it from the combine right down here, and then gotta take off 2 stalk stompers. That way the jack stands will sit down on that trailer right, and then that way we can get this put away. Some of you may be wondering why I got an 8-row with a trailer. Obviously it's not totally necessary, because we drive down the road with the 8-row, but it makes it handy for situations like this. Set the corn head down, go park at the shed or whatever, and then we can go wherever we need to cutting beans without having to worry about, oh, do we need to go back and get the corn head in case we need to get the corn. Makes it really handy that we can just pull this corn head wherever, not have to worry about where the combine's at, where it's going, so that makes it really handy. So I'm gonna go down here and get this taken apart and get this set off. Tell you what, this little tractor makes it real handy to pull these heads in and out of the shed, because it's, for those farmers, you know, it's a little tricky to back up these header cart trailers, but get this pulled out here, we'll get hooked onto it with the truck, and I'll get that corn head backed in, and all we got left to do is switch that combine over, and I'll be heading down to the field. Well, glad I waited till last to switch that combine over. Just got a phone call saying that instead of waiting another probably at least an hour and a half for the beans to test, we're gonna go maybe open up a few cornfields. Probably still be too wet, but that'll give us something to do. So Luke went ahead and took his combine and head down to where we're gonna be cutting beans. Dad's picking them up, gonna come back, and then we'll kind of get a game plan from there. We might just go right over here to that corn. 90 acres there, and then just catty corner to it, there's a 68 that we can open up, or just about a mile and a half up the road is another 30 acres. So we got some options, but it was really wet this morning, even too wet to start on some corn, just as far as like the leaves wetness go. The leaves are too wet, they don't thresh very good, and the concaves and stuff get all plugged up. So there is a nice breeze though, I don't know if you can see. That's good for drying stuff out. We actually tried some corn yesterday. We only made 2 rounds, and it picked up like 2.5–3% of moisture from the rain, which is not unheard of, but it's usually not very common at all with corn. Normally you can about pick corn right as soon as you can get back in the field when the field conditions are okay, but it is what it is. So won't be able to put that in the bin for we probably could tomorrow, but we'll be cutting beans, and then we got some more rain coming this weekend. So it's just kind of all up in the air what exactly we're going to do. Fortunately, just kind of how it goes. You got plans for one thing, and then turn right around and do the exact opposite. So we'll see what Dad and Luke have to say. They might drive around a little bit and check some fields. We came just across the road here from the shop. I'm going to try these in rows. And it's about 10:30 right now, so we'll probably go on these till about noon. I'd say 1 o'clock. Dad never told me how the beans felt. I'm assuming he felt them, so see how this goes. And then get started on those beans. Want to get as many beans as knocked out as possible when you can, when the weather's fit, because either beans are very picky. Either they're too wet or too dry, and it's probably a pretty good cutting. Should be pretty good cutting this afternoon after we got that rain. All the moisture should be pretty even, won't be too dry, so we'll be able to get in there and get the most beans possible, which will be good. So I'll see how this goes right here. Well, gotta make do with what you got, right? These are, I don't know how long these rows are. They might be half mile. Not for sure, to be honest. So, why stop and dump when you can dump on the road? This road isn't very frequented, so I'm not too worried about anyone coming up behind me. And even so, I got a camera. Yeah, you can't see it, but it'll be all right. They can wait, right? Well, we just shelled 2 loads here, and it's going about 22 and a half, so I figured it'd be pretty wet. Didn't think it'd be quite that wet, but oh well. So we're gonna get this last truck dumped off here, and then Dad and Luke are up at the shop, get that combine switched over, and hopefully the beans will test, because we'll be cutting on them here in probably about 20 minutes. Just got that last load of corn dumped off and just pulled in here to the field. Luke's done like a half a round here on the end rows and said his monitor is saying about 16 or 17. So those need to dry down about another 2 points, and then should be able to get going. There's 125 acres here, so this will keep us busy for the rest of the afternoon. Got everything all shuffled down here. Ended up switching grain carts. These are pretty long rows. They're kind of an odd length. They're over half mile, but not quite 3/4. So obviously you're going to be running 2 combines, 1 grain cart, 2 trucks. Jonathan's going to be in the trucks, hopping back and forth, but we're just going to Ashmore there. So we're about a mile from it, which would be nice. So hopefully we should be able to stay caught up. I wouldn't know why not, because there's not really anybody else going into the elevator. Neighbors are cutting some beans right there, but I don't think they're going there. But even if they were, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But that's one reason why we did switch to the bigger cart, just in case. Got about another 300 bushels of capacity. So we'll see how these things are doing. Should be about testing now. We waited about an hour. There's a nice breeze. It's sunny, so that's always good. And what is the temperature? 75. Sunny and 75. Hey, there you go. So these should be testing quite nicely. Hopefully right around 14% would be perfect. And I'll see if I can get a yield and kind of give you guys an idea. Hopefully they do pretty good. This field was the one that had 3 different planting dates on it. It was like April 18th through the 20th, somewhere in there. I can't quite remember. Next one was May 4th, and then the last planting date was like May 10th. Kept getting rained out in this field, but we got her done, so we'll see how it goes. I think the whole thing should be ready. Dumping. These beans are yielding alright. Definitely still good for beans, but a little disappointing for what we've had so far. I think they said the yield monitors are saying about mid-70s, mid to upper 70s, so maybe they'll pick up a little bit. It's a little bit higher on the north side of this field and kind of drops down a little bit, so maybe we'll gain a few bushels, but we'll take what we can get, I guess. Jonathan just took the first load into the elevator. Said they were testing 15, which is plenty wet for beans, but hey, they're cutting, so we'll take it. Not getting docked on it, because if for those of you who don't know, if you take beans in too wet, you can get docked because they can't dry them, but they just blend them with dry beans, so it's just another way for elevators to make money. But oh well. So Jonathan should be back here shortly. I get this elevator dumped off on him, and hopefully we can stay caught up with 1 truck. That'd be really nice, but we'll see. Looks like Luke's lights are flashing, so I'm gonna go catch him. We're keeping Jonathan busy in that 1 truck. When we first got started, didn't think that we'd ever be able to keep up, but we kind of were expecting about 10 more bushel per acre, but it is what it is. He's been able to make it back just about perfect timing every time. I'll be heading back towards the end with a full cart, and he's just getting turned around, which is good. And it's a good thing we got the bigger cart, because the other cart's only 800 bushel and it's not quite a full load, so being able to get a full load on the cart is really nice. So things are going smoothly. Stuff's drying down a little bit like we thought. It's about down to 14 now, which is perfect. So we're going to keep chugging along this stuff, and hopefully nothing happens. Dad is having to blow out his air filter on his combine. His combines have, or most ag equipment anyway, probably most equipment in general, has an aspirator tube that goes from right before the air filter to right at the end of the exhaust. And I think what it does is it sucks the extra dust from getting into the air filter and shoots it out the exhaust. That way your air filter's not having to siphon that much stuff out. But for some reason his is getting plugged up for some reason. I don't know why. We had the problem with it last year. Got it cleaned out really, really well. So I'd say something's not quite right. So we might have to do a little digging into that. But that'll probably take him about 10 minutes to get that cleaned out, then he'll be back up and running. I'm not exactly sure what Dad's got going on over there. He's saw him get done blowing out the filter probably 15 or 20 minutes ago, but He put his ladder up, looks like. I don't know if he's on the phone or what. I don't think he's taking that tube all the way apart. That tube's a real pain. What you need to get it blown out right without having to take it apart is like a tire seating air tank with that big old valve on there and dump it, but I don't know. Hopefully it gets going here quickly because one combine sucks. It's like the old days. Dad's back up and going now. He said that part of the big plastic part, that's his intake, it's right above the filter. Somehow there's a big hose clamp that goes around there, got loose and that came apart, so there was a gap, and so it was sucking a lot more dust than what it should have. So that should be able to keep him running for tonight, and then I'll probably have to make sure that tube's nice and clean before we get going tomorrow morning, because it seems like once it gets a little bit stuck in there, you have to get it really, really clean, or else it just stacks back up. We're still plugging away. As you can see, it's getting a little darker out, got a little bit of cloud cover, but it's not affecting anything. We've got, I don't know, 25 acres left, maybe. So hopefully gonna get this done and in time before the elevator closes, which is here in about an hour. Should be no problem, but Luke actually had to run across the road and finish up a 6-acre piece that was too green to cut the other day for some of that custom farming that we're doing. So he's on that, and Dad's still over here. And then once he finishes that up, which won't take but a few minutes, he'll come back over here. And then, like I said, hopefully we can get everything in, which we should be able to. And then if we get that done, we've got 28 acres right across the road from the shop that we can actually go on tonight. So if everything works out, get this done, get moved down there, and then start on that tonight, and all that will fit on the semis and grain carts. So that'd be really nice to get that done and on wheels, because get it hauled in tomorrow, because it's supposed to be raining, unfortunately. But trying to get as much done as we can, just kind of how things go. You know, this morning we were gonna just do beans. Well, then we decided to do some corn, which is fine. So I did the corn and then got started on beans about 1 o'clock, which is about when they had to wait on them to test anyway. So it's just kind of how things go sometimes. Farming, plan on doing one thing and then end up doing the complete opposite, or stuff just doesn't go as quick as you'd want. So it is what it is. Supper time. Compliments of Meg. Got some Arby's tonight. Got the old classic roast beef and a crispy chicken, some chips, and a turnover. One of my favorite things about farming is the meals they bring, especially the home-cooked ones. Those are good. Well, fortunately, we're going to be about 5 acres short of getting us all into the elevator, I think. There was actually more here than I thought. I think I said 25 or 30 acres left earlier. Probably more like 40. But I'm gonna hop in this truck because the elevator closes here about 10 minutes. Take this, get dumped. Jocelyn will come back and hop in the cart. The rest of this should fit on one truck, maybe. If not, the cart, probably. And then if we decide we want to do that other 28 acres, we can use the other cart and truck or whatever. So I'll go get this dumped. Now, since we had to do that jockeying around for Luke to go finish up that little 6-acre patch that was too green when we first started across the road, the truck ended up down there. It's the only pickup truck we got down here, so I'm making the probably 3/4 mile trek down to go get the pickup truck and then a header cart. So I guess I'm getting my steps in for a day anyway. But you can see they're just about to finish up. They got like 2 rounds left. But it is what it is. I don't even know if it's all gonna fit on one truck. Probably won't be 2 trucks, so we'll have to see if we even start on that other field, because it won't all fit now, I don't think. I'll have to do the math. Drawing a blank, so we'll see. Get down here to the truck. It'll be dark by the time I get down there. Get the header cart hooked up. Let's just do some math real quick. For that 28 acres, we got 1,100, 1,900 bushels of capacity. Yeah, a little more. 1950. Yeah, that's pushing it with beans. Probably about 1,900. 28 acres. Has some really light ground. Times 70. 1960. Ugh. Probably better not, because I bet you it bakes better than 70. It normally does. That's a little disappointing. But, oh well. Actually, yeah, it'll be more than that, because we had a little jag that we left there at the shop on the east end rows of Dad's field that were a different number that we had to leave, so there's gonna be more there, but oh well, part of it. At least there's a nice pretty sunset. Neighbors are cutting there just north of where we are, and I'm slightly to the, let's get some light up here, slightly to the west of that, so I'm eating their dust pretty bad. People are going by on the highway wondering what in the world I'm doing, I'm sure. At least hopefully no one stops. Well, I made it. Getting backed up to the head of trailer now, and get these heads hooked up, or unhooked I should say, and I will see you guys back at the shop. Made it back to the shop, kind of. We're just across the road here at this 28 acres I was telling you guys about. Both trucks have got some on them, so we can't fill them up, but we do have the 2 carts. So we'll probably at least fill this one, maybe both. The sticky part is it's in 3 separate pieces because it's right up next to the woods, and it's got 2 drainage dishes running through it, unfortunately. So we gotta take the heads off to get to 1 out of the 3, so we can get to 2 of them with the heads on. Take the head off, go over to the next piece and get it. So we're just gonna plug along with this. It's got a nice breeze, so the shouldn't be much dew yet anyway. I think it's a bit humid out, but not bad. So I've been talking enough, so I think I'm gonna end this video here. I do appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you at the next one.